we changed the course of the campaign, and the rest of what happened, as you can see, is history. The only problem is that the man of the moment, Ambassador Francis Kirimi Mudaura, former colleagues, former cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, friends of Ambassador Mudaura, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let me first of all make some declaration that unlike most of you, I invited myself for this forum. We were planning our work schedule for the week, and today we had a very important activity in Trans Nzoia County. And my principal secretary, Amos Gavesha, told me we have to come early. And I asked him why. He told me because he is attending Ambassador Francis Mudaura's book launch. And I told him, go and tell Ambassador Mudaura, we'll come early, you'll make it, you'll go for the book launch, and apende asipende, I'll be there. And it's because the man whose book we are launching today is truly, truly a great man. And personally, I drew a lot of inspiration from the story of his life, and especially now that I serve in government. And I wonder, I've been in government for only 1 year. How do you serve in government for 50 years? And you know, being in public service is mostly a thankless job. I think the ministers who have been served before, who are here, will tell you, you need a reason. Every morning that you wake up, you need a reason for waking up, for going to work, for doing something. You need a reason. If you think that that reason is being praised, being loved, then you will not even go to work. You need a higher calling, and for me, I'm intrigued by the many years that Ambassador Mudaura has been in public service. For those who served with me before around government, not necessarily in government, I am an avowed Kibakiist, and I don't hide that. When I was in A-levels, doing economics, I remember in the year 1988, when Kibaki was demoted to Minister for Health from Vice President, our class of economics, we all cried tears, led by our teacher, Mrs. Mugo. And so in the year 2002, when I was writing the campaign team for Mwai Kibaki, later in the 2005, when Honorable Kaito Mulungi was leading us in the banana campaign, promising to shape the whole country. And Ambassador Mudaura was working generally around us. We were very young people, encouraging us. But I would later meet Ambassador Mudaura in person when I came back. That time I was abroad, and I came back to the country in 2007, specifically when I resigned my job abroad to come and work for Mwai Kibaki for his re-election. So I came, and typical of me, Nikajituma, and I said, I am going to ensure that Kibaki gets votes in Rift Valley. It was so difficult and unimaginable. Then one man who was working with me is a gentleman from Nakuru. His father was an MP. He told me, you have to meet some people. You cannot have this zeal of believing Kibaki can get votes from Rift Valley. You must be crazy, but before I conclude you are crazy, let me take you to some men, they are not women. They have to listen to you. So this gentleman, who was Mark Midaga's son called Paul, took me to one Peter Munga in his office on Muranga Road. And I found other people most of them who are here, and they listened to me, and I told them something is going wrong, and I've done my analysis. If you don't do something, Kibaki will not be elected. They were so shocked, but I took them through some figures, many things, and what was going wrong in the Kibaki election campaign. They told me, you know, we have to go and see someone, and he has to listen to you. So I was casually dressed, I was not officially dressed, so I said, can we do that tomorrow, so that at least I am dressed decently. And Munga would not hear any of that. He insisted that you have to go and meet Ambassador Mudaura in Harambee House. I told him, look at how I'm dressed. How can I meet the head of public service when I'm dressed like this? So Munga said, the only thing you need is a jacket. So I'll give you mine. So he gave me a skirt. And you know, I am quite tall, he's shorter than me, so it was hanging somewhere. And we went to Ambassador Mudaura. He listened to me. He had this tendency of this big book we used to call Jota. So every time we enter Ambassador Mudaura, he writes everything. Something that I picked from him until today you come to my office. Whether I am writing sensible things or not, I always try to write something. Because I learned that from Ambassador Mudaura. And he agreed with us, and he made for us an appointment to see Kibaki. We went there. We changed the course of the campaign, and you know, the rest of what happened, as you can see, is history. The only problem is that when we came to the lift of the second floor of Harambee House, and I was so happy because Mudaura has agreed to my ideas. The first sentence from Mr. Munga, I thought would be congratulations. Then, but he told me in Kikuyu, "Tukejo kelika wazirako." Anyhow, as you know what happened after 2007, a very difficult time, and remember when we were tallying the votes for Kibaki at KICC, and JB Wanjui consulted Mudaura and said, the way it is going at KICC, it is not good. So there was a gentleman called Mjamat who was supposed to be the chief agent. JB Wanjui consulted Mudaura and they said, we have to remove that gentleman who was here kuzuri, hapo Levita. We have to take a warrior. And so Mudaura and JB insisted that I replace Mjamat as the chief agent for Kibaki at KICC, where I stayed for 4 days without sleeping until we had to tally the votes. I actually left KICC on the 30th of December 2007 when the KICC was cleared by GSU and everybody was asked to get into vehicles. We didn't know where we were going. And somebody pushed me into the boot of a Prado belonging to Honorable Mother Karua. And I found myself at the swearing in of the back at State House. I will leave the rest to my memoirs in the future. This is not my memoir. But this is Mudaura's memoirs, so I will redact that. The reason I actually decided to invite myself, other than being inspired by Ambassador Mudaura, is 6 years ago or 7 years ago, thereabout, I was in this same room when Ambassador Mudaura was launching his foundation. And I remember it is at that point when I think he was charged by some people to ensure that he writes his book. So this journey started right here where we are, and I was right there, so there is no way I could miss that. But I will just mention 3 things. I don't want to tire you with many stories. One is on the contribution of Ambassador Mudaura to public service. That today, speaking as a Minister for Public Service, I feel very honored to just be associated in any way with the foundation that Ambassador Mudaura left. I have got 2 of my predecessors here, Professor Kobia and Sisi Karaoke, who passed through that one. I think we are privileged people. After the recent reshuffle, and I was moved to this ministry, and I moved to Harambee House, it was difficult not to feel the aura of Mudaura and his contribution to public service as we know it. But more than that is that the 10 years of Kibaki's administration could not have been without Ambassador Mudaura. We all know that Kibaki's tenure is synonymous with the tenure of Ambassador Mudaura. But let me just mention, even before he became the head of public service, that recently, as a Minister for Trade, I can attest that we have now the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, and we have ratified it. Almost 50 countries have ratified it. This agreement is a pale shadow compared to the strength and the strong foundations that we have in the strongest and the best managed economic bloc in Africa, the East African Community. Talk of SADC, talk of COMESA, AFCTA, even when I was dealing with the European Union, they say that EAC is actually the benchmark of economic bloc, and even them, the EAC, they try to copy some few things from, the EU tries to copy some few things from the EAC. Now, going to the Kibaki era, and you mentioned about the phenomenal growth of GDP. It may shock many people that when Mudaura and Kibaki took over, our tax collection was, guess, 180 billion shillings. Today, we are at 3 trillion going upward, and we have every likelihood that in the next 2 years, we might hit 4 trillion. That, it is so easy to forget history. But Ambassador, I want to tell you that your place in the history of this country, alongside Mwai Kibaki, is cast in stone. Obviously, the darkest hour for Ambassador Mudaura was when he was named in the ICC. And I remember from the year 2008, for a good 5 years, that time we were not in government. We were some young people who were volunteering, working around governments, supporting government, and the people who are in the mainstream of government who are treating us so fairly that we never felt the need to actually join government. You know the things we did, people who worked with here, Francis Kimemia, Kiraito, Murungi, Monga, and the rest, at a very dark time that we combined so many people in business, people in the private sector, to stabilize our country after the tragedy that we went through in 2007, 2008. But because of the support that the system led by Ambassador Mudaura gave us, we were able to come from that dark phase and actually be the country established, and we were able to move on. Our GDP started moving again. And the ICC, who did work for 5 years. Personally, I did nothing for 5 years except work around Uhuru, Kenyatta, Mudaura, and the team, alongside people like Professor Kagwanja, Steve Njiru, because it was actually a full-time job. At the same time, we had to get a new constitution. And again, I remember the many meetings that Mudaura convened at Harambee House. One meeting which I will never forget is at the end of it all, Mudaura and Romano came here and given me the job of checkmeeting one Miguna. And I remember we went to both sides. Mudaura was there, Kibaki was there to receive now the reports before we went to the embassy. And I remember Kibaki asking Raila now, Raila tell us, where are we? It was about whether to go for a parliamentary system or a presidential system. And Raila looked at Kibaki and said, Your Excellency, the ODM party has decided to support a presidential system. President Kibaki could not believe his luck. He was really sana. And the rest is history, and that's how we got the new constitution. But one thing I want to mention is during the negotiation for the Grand Coalition, there was this incident when there was one of the many dispute resolution meetings, which I was privileged to attend. And there was a Kibaki side, I was there, Mutahi was there, Kawira was there, and then there was a Raila side, Miguna, Karori, Omondi, and others. So one of the complaints that the Raila side had was that we wrote a letter to Ambassador Mutahi, and Ambassador Mutahi never responded. Kibaki looked at Mutahi and asked him, why would you refuse to answer a letter? Where would the letter sheet up? And Mutahi told Kibaki, Your Excellency, I got a letter, yes, from a gentleman known as Karori Omondi, who signed off as the Chief of Staff. And I consulted the book of the government's structure. I did not find that title somewhere. So I decided to ignore it. So that matter ended there, and it never recurred again. So I remember in the year 2011, 2012 there, and I wrote one opinion article in the Star about Mutahi, and I said that we don't have to be judges or lawyers. I was trying to get that article today to know that surely, hata kama kuna mtu alikuwa na makosa, the things that Ambassador Mutahi is being accused of, just comparing with his demeanor, even a primary school kid knows that Mutahi cannot rape, Mutahi cannot commit murder, Mutahi cannot do forceful eviction. I said, maybe the others may want to give us a story, but sure not Ambassador Mutahi, just what I know. Later, Ambassador Mutahi called me to Haram, I have to thank me personally. And I had no position, I had no title. I was a no one. But he called me to thank me for that particular article. So I feel very happy, very proud to be associated. And I want to tell you that your legacy lives on. For those of us who are serving government today, we will aspire and strive to do everything possible to ensure that we live by your legacy and we live a better public service and public institutions than we found them. Kiraito Mulunge has said that most of the people here, this looks like a meeting of the former government. If that be the case, I want to associate myself with the former government. That I look in this room and I feel so proud to find so many men and women with whom we have come from so far, enjoyed the good times, suffered very sad and unfortunate times. I want to finish by asking that this is our country. We have no other country. We do not have a country for the former government or for the current government. This country belongs to all of us. And I want to take this moment to ask that this book launch of Ambassador Mutahi, may it offer us an opportunity to reconcile, to make peace, to work together again for the better of this country. You all know that Ambassador Mutahi was not a divisive person. He was not a controversial person. And I think this book launch of his gives us an opportunity for those we have wronged, for those who have wronged us, to forgive each other. There are some people who have accused me of not picking their calls. So let me offer them my professional apologies. Mr. Francis Kimemi, I'm sorry. Solicitor General Wanjoke Mushemi, I am profusely sorry. to Aries, to Herman, wale wote ambao in the course of doing this, Sicily, I'm not going to apologize to you. I'm apologizing to those people who are older than me. But let us use this opportunity to really open a new chapter of working together, because there's a reason that God put us in positions He has put us now in society. We are all here, people who are in this room, we are privileged people. Because if those people whom we worked with, went to school with, left in the villages, could one day say, when I grow up, I want to be like Professor Jacob Kenya. We are privileged people. Whether you served in the past or whether you serve now, this is our country and we are privileged people. But let me also say that we don't come from the trees, we come from somewhere. And I understand from what has been said here that President Mudaura was also the patron of the Meru Economic and Social Council. That for me gives me a lot of pride, because we all come from somewhere and we cannot forget where we come from. Ambassador, I want to ask you to spare some time also and look with an eye of sympathy to what is happening to the great county of Meru. All is not well. I have counted that since the advent of devolution, Mount Kenya region, and that includes Nairobi because half of the voters in Nairobi are from Mount Kenya region, our county assemblies have impeached governors 9 times. 2 of them in Meru, 2 Wambora from Embu 2 times, Kiambu, Muranga, Kirinyaga. And I'm saying maybe it's about time, in the spirit of inclusivity, we let other regions also impeach their governments. Why only us? Why only Mount Kenya region? Is it only us who have got views? Yeah? And you know, these things that we do, they form the stereotypes that inform on other people. So I hope that wise counsel will prevail. We are only 1 year since we went to elections. There is not even one audit report from the Auditor General that is out. And more so, for me, impeaching a woman who has gone to election and won makes me very sad, because I know that is difficult. So I know you are still the president of Meru. You are rejected number 1. You can do something about it. Please help the great county of Meru to reconcile, put those leaders together, ask for our help if you need. You are our leader, you are our inspiration, you are our hope, and we respect you. Thank you very much.